Is drifting stupid, or am I? Not really a question I need an answer to. I've talked about my feelings on drifting a number of times over the years. I've tried it more than a few times. Going all the way back to like my Sakura D3 days with the all-wheel drive counter steer drift cars. And I kind of enjoyed that, but never really got a hold on me. Fast forward some years later, I built an MST. This one specifically. This is the FXX chassis, which is the front-mounted motor shaft drive to the rear. This was my first rear-wheel drift car that I ever owned. Now, I built this on a live stream sometime in 2020, and I never finished it. I actually gave it to one of my coworkers, Brandon, and then he finished it and presented it back to me. In that time frame from when I actually built it to when he gave it back, we had visited Super G down in SoCal a couple of times, and I gave it a shot again with some people's vehicles that were well set up, but it still didn't really just click for me. That is until this past weekend. A friend of ours was in town, and he's a pretty accomplished drifter, I guess you could say, but after spending the day hanging out, we decided that evening we were all going to go to Rolling Garage, which is a shop here in the Sacramento area that's got a full drift track. They've got well-stocked assortment of parts as well. And it's just a place that they all wanted to go have some fun drifting. So I decided to bring my old wagon and see if I could enjoy it. Once we got to Rolling Garage, got my car set up with the wheels and tires that they recommend for their surface, which is a P-tile surface, which is a pretty standard track surface that you see at drift tracks all over. Got that set up. We also had to do just a little bit of calibration and programming on the electronics that I had in here. And then they shooed me out to the track and let me go try whatever I was supposed to. They had a nice little practice area set up. So I spent several minutes just driving around in a circle between some cones to, before I made a fool of myself out on the track. Nonetheless, after a long evening of drifting, I had a pretty good time. Through the course of the evening, I drove a handful of different cars. I had, of course, my MST. Then I drove an SD 2.0, an Overdose chassis, a RDX from Rev D, and just noticing the differences between this old platform and what I was driving, which were more recent releases. I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot, so I'm going to order some things and try this out again. And that brings us to what we see here. I picked up this Yokomo SD 3.0. Now, with my limited knowledge of specific differences between drift kits, I'm not going to try and give you a review of why this is one to choose over another. Not my place to at this point. All I'm going to do is I'm going to build this up, and I'll let you know how I felt about the kit itself compared to other kits regardless of genre. Something that I've done plenty of is kits. So this kit arrived today. I did pick up some, magnetic body mount sets. I also have a couple of bodies that I picked up. I've had a Futaba 10PX for quite some time, so that's going to be my radio of choice, as that seems to be the radio of choice throughout the drift market anyway. I also picked up a Futaba CB700 servo, one of their 550 gyros, and I still have to get a motor and ESC for this new car as well. I don't know that I will cannibalize this vehicle. I think I'll just keep it together for now. Now, for the body, some of you would probably be able to guess what my choice is going to be. It's a C7 Corvette. I own one of these. I'm pretty partial to it, so that's what I picked up. Now, this is a Traxxas body. So the one downside to the Traxxas bodies is that they do come with pre-drilled holes on the hood and in the back there, which is kind of a bummer. I'm gonna have to try and figure out something around that, but it is what it is. And I wanted the body, so I'm gonna try and figure it out. Now, you may be able to tell this is a clear body. I also picked up a pre-painted one just to get me by, because instant gratification. That'll give me the chance to have a beater body and one that is, I don't know, at least painted the color that I want, or that'll give me the chance to have a beater body and one that will later turn into a beater body, I'm sure. So my goal for tonight is just to get this thing built, and then we'll circle back, tell you a little bit about how that went for me. So after several hours, I got it all assembled, and overall, it was a pretty enjoyable kit. Now, the instruction manual, while it's nothing like pretty to look at, The print quality is good. You can tell the differences in parts from one to the next. You know, there's a couple of parts that don't really clearly explain orientation, specifically the forward rear toe block. You know, you kind of have to look at it. You have to make sure that you put it in the way that the little inserts fit into from the proper side. You can guess which way that I did it first, but pretty minor. Once I figured out what I did, super easy to flip around. I did have 2 screws that I could not find the proper length of. I was super meticulous going through trying to make sure that I matched everything and did it exactly per the manual, but I was short 2 8mm flathead screws, and those were to hold the transmission in, but that was the only thing. So who knows exactly what happened there. There is extra hardware included in the kit through various places, but I didn't end up with extras of those. So I don't know what to say there for sure. Who knows? Could have been me. I'm not above saying that that's a possibility. Beyond that, just the amount of carbon fiber and aluminum in this made it super easy to put together. There's very little plastic that you're threading into, a couple of pieces up in the front, and I mean, you know, the knuckles and carriers, that's about it. But overall, just everything goes so smoothly. It was really, really fun to assemble. I enjoyed this kit immensely. Now, I built it exactly per the directions. I had my caliper out and I got the turnbuckles to within 1/10 of a millimeter, just so this should be a super solid baseline. Now, wheels and tires that I threw on there were just takeoffs from my MST originally, not the ones that I'm going to run. I need to get the proper ones for the P tiles that the local track has. No big deal there, but I wanted something to set on there. Now, I also did get the magnetic body mount set. This is from Scale Tricks, or these are from Scale Reflex. Magnetic body mounts. Now, I adjusted the rears a little bit. The fronts, I'm going to have to come up with something to get those held exactly where I want, but I have plans for that to make it fun for me. So the rear, I've got those set, and I think that I'll be able to get this basically where it needs to be. Wheelbase looks about right. I think I will have to do a little bit of trimming in the front. As I mentioned, I do have a clear one of these, so I can use this one as a template. And I have to figure out what to do with those body post holes, front and rear. If you have any suggestions on that, I'd love to hear it. One other thing that I'd love to have your suggestions on is if there's a better way to assemble turnbuckles. That sure seemed like a bit of a pain in the ass. You know, just hold both, I don't know. I've assembled hundreds of link sets for crawlers and things like that, and I've got perfect tools to be able to do that super fast. Turnbuckles, a little bit of a different world. And if there's a trick or a tool that I can buy, I love a specialty tool. So if you have any suggestions on making turnbuckles easier, I'm here for it. And if there's any other drift specific tools that I should also buy, I'm here for that as well. I know when I was at Rolling Garage, Mitch, one of the guys there who was super helpful when I first stopped in, he had a little tire press. Seemed like something that might be worth owning. One other change that I did make to this setup versus box stock that was recommended to me was using 200 CST fluid in the shocks rather than the 50 weight oil that was included in the SD 3.0. So I think that is really the only change that I made outside of the box manual. I can't think of anything else that I departed from. I did everything else exactly like it stated, other than installing body posts. I guess that's worth mentioning as well. I got this kit in the black anodized aluminum because it was the only one that was currently in stock at AMain when I ordered. It also comes in purple, blue, and red, I believe, where you can get all of the anodized parts in those colors, whatever you select. But I do love the blacked out look as well, so that doesn't bother me at all. If they would have had orange, I probably would have tried to find a way to get that, but here nor there. I believe that I have a bunch of carbon fiber bits from our design that I can throw onto my Futaba here to get that classed up a little bit. All the drift guys seem to have a bunch of bling on their 10PX, and I can't be left behind with that, so I love a new area that I can hyper fixate on all of the little details. So, but overall, I just wanted to say that I super enjoyed this kit, and I'm looking forward to getting this running, set up, and head back to Rolling Garage. I'll go by myself. I don't even care if I need to just sit there and turn a bunch of laps. Maybe I'll get some P tiles for the garage. Test track? Test track. I wonder how much those cost. I better look. With that, I'm here for any of the other suggestions that you may have. Drop them in the comments below. Love to hear it. Another area of RC. Can't be that mad at that. We're all just here for a good time. But anyway, hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the notification bell to see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. I do have channel membership for supporting the channel a little bit further. If you're watching drift content from me, you may not know the channel that well just yet. So maybe that's not for you. But if it is, there's information below. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one. In the next episode, I spray paint my car.